Welcome back, another new video. This one is an M2 video. I'm gonna show you all of the M2 vehicles I've been collecting this winter. So this is a collection of stuff I've just picked up randomly at the stores for the most part since about January 2018. And yeah, I think I had shown you guys in a video quite a ways back a sneak peek of these 1/24 scale Datsun 510s. We're going to open up all these cars. Everything you see here is coming out of the package. Got some of the Walmart exclusives. These are Series 9 auto trucks. That's one that I broke the door off when I was doing a review video on it last year. That's Auto Trucks Release 42 of the F100. That's a really favorite casting for me. And to go along with these 1/24 scale Datsun 510s, got a couple little 1/64 scale ones coming out of the package from the Japan Series 1. That's the recolor of the initial release of those cars. There they are. We'll put them all side by side for you in this video. And then another Walmart exclusive, these Auto Trucks Series 10. I've got 4 out of the 6 vans. I only chose to buy 4 of them. Can't buy everything. Can't buy everything. Anyways, really excited to show you all this stuff. Finally, get it all out of the package. And especially these big, very detailed 1970 Datsun 510. It says Series 26 on the packaging. I don't really collect these bigger models usually. But I figured what with the Datsun 510 craze that's been going on everywhere, might as well add a few to my collection. These 2 cars are not coming out of the package. Most Hot Wheels collectors anyways, especially those of the JDM variety, know that these vintage racing cars from a couple of years ago anyways, a few years ago actually, they are worth a lot of money now. For some reason the Datsun 510 and particularly these first release models by Mattel are exceedingly collectible and very, very expensive to buy now. These ones here on mint cards probably worth around $200 plus each, and I've got 3 of them. But nope, they're not for sale, they're not for trade. I love them. I'm going to hold on to those for a little bit longer. And so I thought I'd get that out of the way. Back in the day I bought those by the case. The actual value that I paid for those cars was about $10 a car. And that was in 2010 that vintage release series with the Datsun 510 was produced. So it's been a bit longer than I thought. It's been 8 years I've held on to that little car. There's the 3rd one. Amongst its vintage racing brethrens, all in numerical order, all 30 cars accounted for. None quite as rare as that one. However, some of these Richard Petty cars come pretty darn close in value. They are hard to come by as well. And, well, there's quite a few very rare cars. This is an M2 video, but I'm digressing here with a little bit of Hot Wheel trivia to explain the sudden craze for the Datsun 510. So, back to the M2. Let's start my M2 review with the oldest models first to the newest models. Here we're looking at the 1969 Ford F100 heavy duty truck featuring opening doors, opening hood, very detailed. Again, this was last year's model. On camera I attempted to open one of the doors with a screwdriver because it was stiff and it would not open, and consequently broke off. And there it is. There's what's left of it. This is what happens to my M2 and Greenlight vehicles that don't make the cut. They get all taken apart, turned into junkers, because that's pretty much what they were to begin with. So anyways, every once in a while you get one of those, but this one was a quality piece. It is worth noting though, on several of these models, you should not force the doors open if they are stiff, or if they don't open the same distance as, say, the driver door versus the passenger door. I'm fairly sure if I tried to open that door further, it would also break off. I mean, these are not meant to be toys, they're models. So nice clean shutting doors on the M2 models. Really good quality. Production numbers, we'll talk a little bit about production. I think these moon, whatever they're called, moon equipped vehicles are produced in the number of around 8,000, if I'm not mistaken, 8,488. And a year ago, these trucks were produced in like 5,000. Yeah, 5,880 for that one. So they're ramping up production. Means they are less scarce now if you're a collector. More people are buying them. They still come with these nice cases. And I just left this one model on here. You can remove that little piece of plastic for the hood support. Uh-oh. Alright, well, I can't do it one-handed. Doors open. Nice looking model. It's got all the details. There's the series on it. And 2 screws. I always remove my M2s from their cases. I think they look a lot better, as all models do, out of all that plastic. And here is the Wambulance from the... this is an all Ford van series of trucks, a Walmart exclusive. These were released in numbers of 7,800 per unit. Pretty cool. There's the camper with some sort of maybe heater, air conditioner on the roof. Forward of the pop-up. Really good quality, all metal. We got the bigger carpentry company. Bigger. And this nice little number here, the blue and white with the matching hubcaps. Very, very nice looking vehicle. And as for the Datsuns, okay, so we've got the 2 first releases out. There's one of them, 69 Nissan Bluebird 1600 SSS. Opening hoods on these. Cleverly placed little delicate mirrors on the front of them. These again are the originals. These are all the same model of car, and here's a new one. 6 per set. I only found 2. I didn't necessarily only want to buy 2, but I only found 2 in the wild, and so there. That's all I got. But that's the passenger road type version. And then here, interestingly, this one is slammed. You can see that the wheels are much lower than all of the previous models. And I was able to confirm that looking at the chassis. It actually has, M2 has put on a flatter chassis piece, whereas before the axle was rather raised to give it a stock ride height. So quite nice. Really like these types of details on M2. And they don't roll all that bad. They're certainly no Hot Wheel contender, but for what they are, they're amazing. I really like M2. And I also like the fact that they come apart so nicely with their screws into the chassis versus rivets. You can really have fun taking these things apart. So whenever I get one that isn't quite perfect, it's really not a bother. I'm usually quite happy to just tear it apart and mix up all its parts and use them for customs, if nothing else. Let's review these 1/24 scale M2 Datsun 510s. They were released only at Walmart early 2018, and the blue and beige models were limited to 4,180 production numbers for those. 8,380 for this Advan Racing version. These are very detailed models featuring all metal parts. Quite a lot of opening parts on these for a 1/24 scale model. Here in Canada they run about $30, so in the United States I imagine they're around $20. Let's take a closer look at some of these models. Appears to be racing models all the way around anyways, at least for this blue one. Opening trunk. And the doors open and close quite nicely. You can see the roll bar in the back and all through the vehicle. Racing seats. Pretty cool. Very nice wheels on it as well. The wheels don't steer, however. It's the only item that I noticed that it was strange for a model of this detail. However, that does give it a little bit more strength if it's going to be used as a toy. Very heavy piece, and they roll quite nicely. Very straight wheels and axles. Lots of details on that one. We'll look at that one last. Next, we're going to look at this. It appears to be the civilian version before modifications. I haven't opened up all the parts on it, but it does have all the same opening parts. You can see that the seats are more original equipment manufacturer, and the trim level appears to be the same otherwise. Windshield wipers and mirrors. Not sure if there's a difference in the engine. That might be worth noting. The racing model does have a different engine, as you can see, so quite a nice touch there. We've got a big hopped up engine for the Datsun 510 versus the standard. I don't know enough about these cars to know what the engines are, but I'm sure one of you enthusiasts in the comments could fill in that for the rest of us. All of them have different wheels, which is also nice. And let's check out the engine on this one. As I suspected, it's the same as the one in the blue version. Great tampo work on this. Decals, tampos, whatever they are. This one also features the racing interior as seen in the blue car. Tires are all the same width. Chassis appear to all be the same. And I don't think there's production numbers on the chassis. No, there does not appear to be. In the past, the 1/24th or 1/64 scale M2 vehicles did have production numbers, but now we have to rely on the packaging. So, initially anyways, you can always look this stuff up later or check out my videos. So these cars were released in a second wave, another wave of colors. I'm not sure on the production numbers for those. I bought these cars locally in the wild at my Walmart, so I have not picked up the others, and I probably don't plan on collecting the larger models, as I've got enough of these smaller models to fill my entire first floor of my house, so can't start filling it up with even larger vehicles. Anyways, hope you find everything you're looking for out there, and happy hunting.